Hey, welcome to the Leadership Lab podcast, where we're developing the heart and soul of leaders. My name is Jeremiah.
And my name is Bianca. And we are so excited about today's episode because we have a special guest.
First guest of
Our
the
first
podcast.
Guest.
Wow,
Yes, our very
wow.
first
I'm
guest.
honored. I'm honored. That's amazing.
Today we have, and he's just not just a guest, he is one of our closest friends. This is Pastor Meiko Seymour. Yes, exactly. Cue the applause right now. We are so excited to have you today.
I'm excited to be here. I've been listening to this podcast. It's amazing. Thank you guys. It's an honor to be here.
Oh, you guys, you don't even know. You don't even know. So just get ready. Today, our topic is productivity. And the reason why we want to talk about that is because Meiko is probably one of the most productive geniuses that we know.
Yes.
We talk about you all the time.
All the time.
Like, if you saw someone who was like skilled and gifted and shaped, this is you right here. And so we're going to pick your brain today, if you don't mind.
Let's do it.
I'm so excited. Just get ready because you're going to get a wealth of wisdom today.
I love, when we think of Meiko, we think of, like, you know, they have these Christian bracelets that are like WWJD. Like, we have WWMD all the time. We're like, what would Meiko do in this situation here?
Oh, no.
Because literally, you inspire us, the way that you get things done, the way that you lead other people, and the depth of the way that you care for people.
Yes.
So one of my favorite things about you is just the level of care that you give to people. People just feel like they're important to you.
Yeah.
And it just oozes out everywhere.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for saying that. Thank you very much for saying that.
Well, we're going to jump right in.
Okay.
We got some questions for you,
All right.
and we're going to have some fun. So our first question today, Meiko, as a productive beast, what motivates you or drives you to get so much done in a single day?
Yeah. Wow. I love productive beast. That's going to be my new title on my email signature.
Beast mode.
Yeah.
Beast mode.
Honestly, I am driven by vision. I really am. I often say this. You guys have heard me say this before, that the vision for my life determines the parameters that I live by. And so the vision for my life literally dictates every single decision that I make. And so daily I am trying to achieve that vision, right? It's almost like football, almost like the NFL, right? We know that football is a game of inches.
Yes.
And so the whole time, the whole goal of the game is to get that ball down the field, right, to score some points. And so every single day, that's what I'm trying to do. Every single day, I am thinking through a multitude of decisions that I'm going to make during the day in order to move the ball maybe inches, right, down the field in order to get us to the goal. I always say, when I die and they look at my brain, at the end of my life, it's going to be a shriveled mess, because I feel like my brain is always going. It's always thinking about every single decision I need to make, and including what meetings I need to prepare for, what people I need to bring around the table. How do I move not only towards the vision that I have for my life, but how do I move, my church? How do I move my church forward towards its vision? So my brain is constantly going, and I'm constantly trying to maximize everything that I'm doing during the day.
That's so good.
Yeah.
I love your heart behind that you're living so much on purpose.
Yeah.
What would you say? This is not even part of the question, so sorry. But what would you say to someone who's waking up every single day and they're kind of just living by accident?
Yeah.
How could you speak to that person right now?
Yeah, I actually encountered this question a lot. One of the things that I would probably say is that you're here on this planet on purpose.
Yeah.
Right? You're here on purpose. And so we've got to live our lives on purpose. When we start to kind of shrink back and let circumstances or our environments or the consequences potentially of past decisions, right, dictate how we're living our lives, then we're not living on purpose. We're living based on those external decisions or somebody else's decisions that they've made for us. So what I would say is, take a moment. It's okay to take some moments, right?
Yes.
To just kind of sit back and say, or search for your purpose.
Yes.
Why are you here?
That's good.
What has God called you to, right? and really just search that out. I believe in accountability partners. I believe in having good friends around you who you can kind of bounce those things off of, you know, as you're coming up with those ideas or what you're feeling your purpose or your calling is here on the planet. Go to those friends and say, hey, here's what I'm thinking. What do you see? Does that make sense? Does that connect? And as you do that, you're actually building up this kind of portfolio, right? Portfolio of vision. You're coming towards creating that vision or solidifying or clarifying that vision for your life. Every single conversation, every single time that you're taking out a journal, right? And you're just writing some things down, some thoughts or some feelings that you're having towards towards who you are. Every single time that you do that, you're actually creating this idea or solidifying and clarifying who you are and what your purpose is here on the planet. So I would just say to people, take a moment. It's okay to not know, right? It's okay to not know.
It's good.
But don't remain there. Take some time and search it out.
I love
So
that.
good.
Don't remain there.
Yeah.
Take accountability for your life and take responsibility. That's amazing. I love that.
Make progress.
Yeah.
I mean, just progress, inches.
Yep, that's right.
Moving the ball down the field.
That's right.
When you were just talking about that productivity, you said, I'm always thinking. I'm always thinking about things. You said, I'm always thinking about what I have to get done and who I need to bring around the table. And those two things are really impactful because, first of all, there's a self-leadership thing there. What do I got to get done? I've got some responsibilities. I got to lead myself.
Right.
But then I've got to lead others, and I've got to bring other people to a table, a common vision, and get them to be a part of it. So moving past my own personal vision for my life and moving into this kind of shared vision mentality, tell us a little bit about some of the ways that you do that, where you're bringing that clarity and you're bringing that vision to those people who are around that table.
Yeah, I think, so let's back up a little bit. I think the people that are around that table, right, have a shared, there's a shared passion, there's a shared commonality that when you're on a team specifically. And so I think when we're all sort of yoked together, right, equally yoked together, then it makes that process a little bit easier. It's, okay, here is the goal, here is the vision. We each have a part to play, right? We each have a part to play towards achieving that vision. And so what I tend to do is to lean into each person's strength, right? Each person's talent. And I try to encourage that stuff out of that person. So it's not a blanket encouragement for those that are around the table, but it's more of a specific encouragement towards each person that's on that team, so that the strength that lies within each specific person can come out and contribute to us moving the ball down the field, if we want to continue using that analogy.
That's good.
Right?
That's good.
Because I think sometimes when you're sitting at a table, you may have a set of gifts and talents and just things that you're good at, right? And that specific project or goal or thing, whatever it is, may not seem like you can contribute to it. And you're listening to every single person around you kind of contribute and talk and conversate and decide things. And sometimes I see this all the time. There's always someone who's sitting there and they know that they want to contribute, but they don't know what they can contribute. So I'm always looking for that person and trying to call that stuff out of someone. And it requires a type of leader who can see beyond what's right in front of them, right? It takes a special leader who can kind of see into the future, if you will, of that person actually stepping into everything that they are, right? I think that's really important, especially those of us that lead teams. We need to be able to see people beyond what they're presently showing us, right?
Yeah, and God gives us that insight. You know, we get that insight through prayer. We also get that insight through the things that they say.
Right.
I think,
Right.
you know, in the culture that we live in right now, I mean, if you talk about, hey, I need to buy a pack of toilet paper later on, like all of a sudden on your Amazon, it's going to pop up. It's going to be like, you need toilet paper. You're like,
Yep.
man, how are
It
they
is
listening
I
to
know,
me?
so
crazy.
Big Brother's
strange.
listening to
I
me. I mean,
know.
So
they're listening from
Right.
everywhere. I
Right.
think that we can have that same kind of customizable feature about our leadership
Yep.
where we're looking at the
Yep.
things that the people are passionate about
Yep.
and then go ahead and tap into that right there.
Yep.
They're always talking about, hey, I know so-and-so and they need to come to church. I know so-and-so and they need to,
Yep.
well, they got a heart for evangelism. Man, they got a spiritual gift to be an evangelist. We
Right.
need to call that out of them and say, hey,
Yes.
we're going to put together a street team and we're going to get the word out about this thing and we
Yep.
want you to be a part of that
Yep.
and really customizing it for the people that we're leading.
Right.
One of the things that I love about you, Meiko, and this is probably one of your greatest strengths, is that you see people. Like you see them.
Yeah.
And it's like you see past what they can offer, you see past what value they bring to the table, you see that, and you value them as a person. And so I've been able to witness a bunch of different types of leaders, some that just all they care about is making sure there's the win.
Right.
They care about the win at the end of the day. They don't really care about the individuals on the team. They don't really care about the person on the team. What would you say? I mean, I feel like it's kind of like a Band-Aid moment. Like just how would you, like were you ripping the Band-Aid off really quickly? Like just do it quickly. What would you say to someone and how could you help someone cultivate that culture of seeing people?
Yeah. I think probably the best thing that I can say about this is the people that are around you, they don't belong to you. Right? They don't belong to you.
They're not yours.
They're not yours. And so they come with their own set of ideals and giftings and just things that they love and passions, right? And so I think the best leaders are going to search those things out. And when you believe that that person belongs to you, then the only thing that you're throwing their way are a set of tasks, right? Things for them to do versus entering into relationship with them, right? To really get to know them and for you guys to do things together. Yeah.
Not a top-down thing,
Right.
but hey, we're on the same team.
Yeah.
We're working on this task together.
The best teams are families,
Yes.
right?
They're best
teams-
friends. They do life together.
Right.
So what you're
I love
saying
that.
is that we're not owning the people that we lead, but we are responsible to steward
Right.
the responsibility that they are into our
Right.
lives.
Yeah.
Because really it's about our accountability back to God,
Right.
about how we stewarded them being a part of our team, how we
Yep.
invested in them.
Yep.
How are they better after
Yep.
leaving us?
Right.
Yes.
I think it's great to
Right.
look back at your leadership.
Ooh, that's
and
a
do you have
good
a wake
question.
of destruction behind
Yeah.
you?
Yeah.
Or do you have just a wake full of people who've been built up,
Yep.
who are stronger because
Yeah.
you were in their lives?
Yeah.
And I mean, and Jesus, he did this. He saw people and he saw where they were and he loved them and he didn't call he called his disciples friends.
That's right.
And he is God.
Yeah.
And he's calling them friends. And we need to learn this. We need to learn this as leaders that we're not better. And I loved what you said. Look, we don't own anyone.
Yeah.
They have their own thing that God's
Right.
placed on their life.
Right.
I've said this for years because God has taught me this long time ago is love people deeply, but hold them loosely. Because God can choose. God can choose how long they're going to be in a season with you there. But focusing more, I love that. Focusing more on the relationship there. Oh, that's so good.
So there's a lot of people who listen to this, not only are leaders, but they're also followers. They're on
Okay.
somebody's team.
Right.
Okay. So when you have people on your team, what are some of the best things that person who's on that team can do for you as a leader? How can they add value to you as a leader? How can they contribute to the team that you're leading?
Yeah. This is going to sound really, really silly, but show up on time and show up prepared.
Come on.
Right? Show up on time,
Yes.
show up prepared. And the reason I say that is because when someone shows up on time, when they're showing up prepared, that is a signal that they are in lockstep with where you're trying to go.
Yeah.
That's so good.
They understand the value that they bring because they are preparing for whatever that thing is or that meeting, right?
Yeah.
And it also shows respect.
Yeah.
Right? Not only for themselves, not only for me as a leader, but then also for everyone else who is on the team.
Yes.
So that's the best thing I think someone can do when they are on a team,
Yeah.
right, when they're following, is to show up on time and show up prepared.
That's
Good.
so good.
Yeah.
That's so good. So we're talking about productivity and what drives you. We've swung on that side of it. But what about on the other side? What's some things that maybe drain you or demotivate you to go to even inch the ball down the field?
Yeah. I would probably say lack of communication. Lack of communication actually creates distrust, right? Lack of communication creates an environment where, you're just trying to figure out, is what I'm doing what is expected? I don't know. And so sometimes that can cause us to be spinning our wheels, right? That can cause us to be engaging in activities that really are bearing no fruit. Or if it is bearing fruit, it may not be the correct fruit for the meal that we're trying to prepare, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so it also creates silos. It creates this idea of, well, I'm just doing this for me and in my area of ministry or my area of the team, my workplace, that kind of thing, and it does not contribute to anything else, which then breeds contentment, right?
Yep.
It breeds a kind of exhaustion as well, because your mind is just constantly stressing out about, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm still trying to collect a paycheck, or I'm still trying to be a part of the team, but I don't know if it's working out. And so that's something that leaves me very, very drained. But it all stems from a lack of communication, lack of communication of expectations, potentially of the vision and the mission as well.
Wow.
That's good.
That's really good.
So it demotivates you to have a lack of communication, and you spoke a lot of that about being communicated to, but not only from like your leader from the top down, but also from peers and coworkers and even those who you're giving leadership to.
Yeah.
I mean, there's this demotivating factor that, like, when nobody's kind of all together, it just kind of feels like, what are we doing here?
Right.
You know, like there's not that cohesive team feel for what's going on.
Right. And the team can really just fall apart from that.
Yeah.
Right? Because again, you're going to have a team of people who are unmotivated to do anything, and they are going to ask that question. I see this time and time again. They are going to ask the question, why are we here? What are we doing? And then the team just breaks down, and then you have to start over. So it's just a cyclical situation that you find yourselves in. The other thing with that, with communication, is it's always so nice to not only have communication from top down, but communication across the way as well. I need to know what you're doing so that I'm not stepping into your lane or stepping on your toes, or potentially we can collaborate even more, because you may be trying to figure something out, and I may have the gift set to help you figure that out. If I don't know what the issues are that you may be having, right? I can't help you solve that.
That's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, how much more work are we creating for ourselves when we're not communicating? Because there might be somebody who just move the ball down the field substantially faster. We're trying to, running back, run it.
Yeah.
And man, we could have somebody that could just throw a pass 85 yards down the field, and it's like, hey, that just moved us forward.
Yeah.
Man, this conversation is brilliant, and I'm so excited about you being here with us today. This has been a fun conversation,
Awesome.
and I can't wait till we have some more guests. So thanks for kicking off.
Awesome. Thank
this
you
right
for having
here.
me.
Man, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in today. And we believe that when leaders grow, man, so much more happens. So keep growing, keep learning. Hey, we love for you to like, subscribe, comment, and share. Tell somebody about what you're learning right here in the Leadership Lab.